evening, everybody, and welcome to the first episode ever of No Limits, a travel show with Rob and Candy. Hi, Rob. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing, Candy?
I'm doing good. I think it's time for another vacation, but hey, what can I say?
It's always time for a vacation. Always. I'll never say no to a vacation.
I hear you. I hear you. So this is our first episode. We're gonna be a travel show. We're gonna talk about traveling. My brother-in-law this weekend, he goes, Candy, what makes you an expert? I said, nothing makes me an expert. I just have an opinion. And hey, we like to travel and I can talk about where I've traveled. And he's like, you're right. Don't need to be an
Listen,
expert.
it's like all these people on TikTok with their travel, TikToks. Same thing, but better.
Exactly. Exactly. And we've done enough traveling. I mean, I can say I've traveled quite a bit. How about you, Rob? You traveled
Oh,
quite a bit?
yeah, I would say I've traveled quite a bit. So we got a lot to talk about.
We do. We do. So, what's your favorite way to travel?
I have to tell you, I love cruises. I mean, I fly, of course, and do everything, but I love cruises. I just love cruises. And I especially love cruises because I'm in the New York area. So I love cruises that leave from New York and New Jersey so that I don't have to fly and waste time and worry about my suitcases and all of that stuff. But I'll fly anywhere anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I understand. I love both. I guess I do like cruises. Now I've only been on two, to be fair to everybody, but the cruises that I've been on have been very much international cruises. So I instead of some people, our last cruise, we talked to a guy that, no lie, was going to be on. He went from cruise to cruise to cruise. He was doing 42 days, I think. He started in Tampa and he actually did a transatlantic from Tampa all the way over we started ours in Portugal. So, whereas we flew over to Portugal.
Yeah.
And then we did, a cruise. This time we did a bunch of countries, and last year we had done, and those are the first two cruises I've ever done. And I'm like, I could kind of get used to this.
Oh yeah, listen, I've been on 20 cruises, so I guess I do like them. Um and they're great. I love cruises because once you're on the ship, there that's it. It's your hotel. You don't have to pack, unpack, right? You could eat
Hmm.
whenever you want to eat. There's always food ready. The
Hmm.
entertainment. If you like going in casinos, there's shows, there's bars, there's just a lot to do. That's how I feel.
The only thing I will say about cruises that you might have, maybe, I don't know if I'd say negative, but you don't get in really with the culture of where you're at, because you do an excursion, so they're going to show you like on a tour of some place, which is nice, but you typically don't sit down and have a lot of meals where you're at because you're having the meals on the boat. So I don't know if you really get a full sense of their cuisine.
Yeah, no, you're right. When you go to Bermuda, when you take a cruise to Bermuda, then it's different because you are in Bermuda for a couple of nights, so the ship's your hotel, and you can get on and off whenever you want. So that's different. But I know what you're saying. A lot of people don't like the fact that they're in a port of call for 6, 7 hours, in and out, and they're back on the ship. And you're right, they don't get to experience a lot of things. So that I agree. That's the one downfall.
Right. But I suppose if you didn't want to book an excursion, you could go off the boat on your own, and you are on your own, and go have a meal. Now, will you know where to go, what place to sit, what to order? And the other thing is do you even know the language wherever you are to
That's
order?
true. Yeah, no, that would be a problem. But practically the same thing as if you just fly somewhere. You have to get used to that. But you know, I enjoy any type of travel. I enjoy. I love going to places. My favorite are tropical islands. Okay, that I have to admit. But I love going to other countries too. I mean, Italy is one of my favorite places in the world, and Switzerland also. Love Switzerland. Love Italy.
Nice, nice. There's two places I have not been to yet. And I would say, as far as tropical, since I live in Florida,
Yes,
tropical is not one of my first
I know.
destinations. But I also lived, I mean, I used to live in the north, so I did not live in New York. I lived in Wisconsin, full
Yes.
disclosure. Cold, snow, seen it all. But yeah, so I guess for us, the first cruise that we took, we flew into Southampton, which is the port for England, if people
Yes.
don't know. So we flew into Heathrow, into London, and then it's about an hour and a half drive, commute, however you take it, bus, taxi, Uber, whatever, to the actual port. And then you get on the port. And then from there, we were supposed to stop in Belgium the first time. Too windy. That's the only problem too. Sometimes on a cruise, the weather conditions can force them not to stop at a port.
Yes.
I will put that in full disclosure, and it's not like you get a refund back because they didn't stop. It's not. It was weather related. It's not because of their issues or anything like that. So we didn't get to Belgium the first year. Then it went to Amsterdam. Then we went up to Norway, a couple stops on the west side of Norway. And then we went over to Iceland, which is kind of funny because a lot of people are like, oh, it's got to be so cold there. And I'm like, no, honestly, they were named wrong. Iceland should be Greenland and Greenland should be Iceland because there's more ice on Greenland and more. I mean, there is some on Iceland, don't get me wrong. When we went, it was not as cold, so we didn't see the glaciers, the ice part side of it. We saw the waterfall part, and that was great, but we didn't see some of the other things. And then last year we went Portugal, Spain, Paris. We got to see the Eiffel Tower. We got to see we went to Berlin. We actually went to Hamburg, Germany, and we took the bus into Berlin to see the Berlin Wall. And that was pretty emotional area.
Yeah, I could imagine.
It was.
I know you guys liked I know Scott liked Greenland, right?
But we didn't go to Greenland. We went to Iceland.
To ice. Oh yeah, that's right. Iceland. I know you loved Iceland, right?
He did. He did.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. So do you want to hear people are always worried about cruises, something going to happen on the cruise. And like I said, I've been on 20 cruises. I've only had one minor incident. And do you want to hear about this? This is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like 2006, and a whole group of us went on a 9-night Caribbean cruise. So what happens is we were on Voyager of the Seas, so it was pretty new ship, Royal Caribbean, and it was the morning, and we were waiting to get into the restaurant, and then all of a sudden the ship starts to list, and water's coming out of the elevator, and people are like, whoa. And that was for about, I would say, about not even a minute. And then all of a sudden the ship straightened out and everything was fine. And the captain came on, and one of the pipes burst on the ship, and the ship sort of listed because of that. And the water that came out of the elevator was actually from one of the fish tanks upstairs in the main lobby that broke, and it just happened to go down the elevator shaft. But people were like freaking out, but I didn't freak out. I'm like, oh, because it straightened out pretty fast. But that was the only incident 20 years of cruising that I had a problem. 20 cruises, I mean. It's 40 something years of cruising, but 20 cruises.
Wow, interesting. That is, yeah, that's definitely. I mean, I guess the only incident we really had this last time is we were on an older ship, and the problem with older ships is they are old. The plumbing's not the same. It's not. So we had a couple times where we had to call them to fix our toilet. It wasn't flushing properly, and they
Yeah.
kept saying sometimes on older ships that's a problem, especially with all the different people, and if people don't, let's face it, people don't use them the correct way or put the correct things down them, it makes a difference. I can
Yeah.
imagine that.
I don't understand people. I mean, there is a sign right there that tells you what not you're not supposed to put anything in there except for their toilet paper. That's it. That's it.
Correct.
Why do people do other things? Because they're stupid and they ruin it for everybody else. But yeah, that could be a problem. I know on older ships, definitely. But
Hmm.
what are some of your favorite places that you visited?
I would say one of them would be Paris. One of them would been Iceland, and the waterfall. It's a lot like the waterfall at Niagara Falls, although it's a little. I think it's bigger. I don't know for sure, but and it's glacier formed. The glaciers are what really fuel the water source yet. So they said that it has dried up a little bit here and there for global warming on our tour, but I think that was probably one of I and honestly the beautiful fjords of Norway. Like just going through the fjords and the waterfalls coming down on the sides. Um, some of the beautiful pictures. Like that's just. How about you?
Yeah, well, Italy, I was lucky because I spent a month in Italy and Switzerland. So from
Mm.
the Amalfi Coast all the way to Switzerland, I loved it all. I loved Venice. Was when I went to Venice, it was the end of May and beginning of June. So it was beautiful. The water was clean, everything was nice, the weather was perfect. I was like I said, I was there for about a month and it only rained a couple of hours for that whole month. It was just amazing. The weather was great. Of course, Rome, how could you not like going to the Colosseum? Um,
Mhm.
you know, it just beautiful and um Switzerland, the Alps, flying over the Alps, just what a sight. That, it's just so beautiful. Italy is just great. Of course, the food was great in Italy. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure.
everything's so fresh and it's delicious. So those are my favorite. But I have a place in my heart for Hawaii. I've been there many times. When I was a kid, we moved there for a while because my aunt and uncle and family lived there. So
Okay.
I spent summers flying to Oahu when I was a kid. Um, the only thing I didn't like, and I could bring up a baseball reference, because of the time zone, and back then you couldn't watch game. All you had was like the NBC game of the week. So for the whole summer, I barely got to watch the Mets, which might not have been a bad thing, but
I understand.
but
I
Hawaii is so beautiful, and I love Oahu, even though it's commercialized. But I love Kauai also, so it's just beautiful. And Bermuda, I love too. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, it's. Have you ever been to Bermuda?
I have not. No.
Bermuda is it's beautiful. It's in the Atlantic. When you look at the water, Candy, it's like I can't believe this is the Atlantic Ocean, because it's off the coast of North Carolina. And
Hmm.
Horseshoe Bay is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. And the sand is really pink. So
Ooh,
if you
really?
get there, the sand is pink and it's amazing. So if you ever get a chance to go to Bermuda, I would highly recommend it.
I'll have to. I'll have to put it on that bucket list. I'm sure a lot of people have bucket lists. So Rob, where's the next place, or where is some place that you haven't been that you want to go to?
I want to go to Alaska. I want to take an Alaska cruise. Um, do that, and you go for 2 weeks, you take the cruise, then you do the railway thing on there. So that's one place that I want to visit. um I'd love to go to Japan. I mean,
Mm.
I really would love to go to Japan also. Listen, I wish I could go everywhere. I mean, it's
Right.
impossible, but once you get the bug, right?
Exactly, exactly. We just need the pocketbook that goes with that bug, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing, the money and time. But, I like you guys went to Key West recently. I love Key West too. How did you like Key West?
We loved it. We loved it. One of the things we did, we've gone there numerous times because we live so close. So that
Yeah.
makes a difference too, because we can just drive down there. We love the drive. It's relaxing. You hit the 7 Mile Bridge. Uh, and this time, what we did is instead of staying actually in Key West, we stayed in one of the keys that's right next to Key West called Little Sugarloaf. Or and on Little Sugarloaf, we actually were stayed in a little resort. It's one of the only resorts slash hotels in the Keys that is not commercially owned. It actually was mom and pop, and now it's sister and brother that own it.
That's great.
It is. So it was really cool. Little, real nice people. The back, you open up the back patio doors to one of the to the water, actually. Like there was a couple steps down, and there was a boat launch right there, so people could launch their boats from there if they wanted to. Real relaxing, and yet real quiet, because it wasn't the commercialization of Key West, the hubbub, the because a lot of people stay all the way down on Key West, but Key West is not a cheap place to stay.
Yeah, that's true.
And so we decided we wanted to stay a little bit away, as we were maybe 10, 15 minutes away, not even. So we really enjoyed it. In fact, we would go back to this place and see it again. I think I want to play a little video.
Okay.
I'm going to share a little video. We went to a restaurant down in Key West, and it was called Blue Heaven. And I'm going to play one of the little videos that we have that we took there, and I'm just going to share it. And this is funny because down in Key West, you see roosters all the time.
Yeah. So that's great. He was at the restaurant. I guess he wanted to eat.
He was at the restaurant because it was an outdoor restaurant. Uh, it was funny because they walk all around down in Key West. Yeah, they're known for them. Let's see. There was another one I wanted to actually show that shows the key lime pie we had. Let me get that one queued up here. Let me get that. Go here.
I can't. I don't hear any audio. Candy. Okay.
So I just wanted to show everybody that key lime pie down in at Blue Heaven. And that's what this channel is going to be all about. Our Destination Discoveries is a travel YouTube channel where we're going to show all kinds of different things that we do when we're out traveling, and then we're going to talk about it on these shows like this, Rob.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Now, my question to you guys, I mean, you guys,
Mhm.
when you went on your first cruise last year, was it what you expected?
Yeah, I think it kind of was. I've talked to a lot of people. It's kind of funny because I come obviously from Wisconsin. Wisconsin, you don't do cruises from Wisconsin. Like, you don't do that kind of thing. So then when I moved down here to Florida, everybody's like, "Well, oh, you're going to be so close. You know, we're not too far from Fort Lauderdale. Oh, you know, you'll be on cruises all the time. You can find all these deals." And I'm like, "Yeah, but who has all the time and who has the money to do all those?" But so we decided we wanted to do a cruise, and we wanted to do, and for some reason, I don't know why, we didn't like just test the waters, because you hear sometimes like people get motion sickness, and I'm like, ooh, you know, I remember back in the day when I was going to high school, I went on a trip with a bunch of uh, people from church, and we went down to Corpus Christi, Texas, and we were, you know, we actually lived on the beach for a week, so we
Oh,
put
wow.
tents up on the beach in Corpus Christi, and then we went from there. We did a deep sea fishing trip. And I will say I got seasick on that deep sea fishing trip. And so I'm like, I was nervous on my first cruise because I'm like, am I going to get seasick again? Or I'm like, but then everyone's like, oh, no, you won't. It's this big ship. You don't have you don't really feel it moving. And what I would say is you don't feel it moving like a ship rocks back and forth or anything like that. You do sometimes when you're walking, you might feel the ship moving or a little, you know, wave here or there, depending on where you're at and uh, how much waves or movement there is. But the ship is so big that you, for the most part, don't feel it. There are some people that get motion sickness. There's all kinds of medications out there that you, or a patch you can buy these days so that you're not going to get motion sickness. And luckily, I didn't have to use any of that. Was fine. So that was one of my worries at first. Everyone said there was plenty of food. We've stayed away from buffets because we know a buffet just means your waistline is going to expand at least. So we decided we didn't want. We went to buffets just a little bit. Like, I would go up for breakfast and get a plate, and I'd be done.
Yeah, that's smart.
Exactly, because let's face it. I mean, there's no one that says you can't go back up for seconds and thirds, and you could eat too much, and it's like, you don't want to be sick when you're on the boat because you ate too much, you know.
No, and things are different when you get older. When I first started cruising, I was young, so I could eat. That's when they used to have midnight buffets, and it was like a full, like you just had dinner a couple hours ago, and now they have more food than you could imagine. But you know, I
Mhm,
was young, so I burned that
mhm.
off. So I would eat and eat. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, we get older, you gotta watch, you gotta watch yourself. You could gain weight. But I always go on like a pre-cruise diet where I like starve myself for about a month, and then then I'm
Mhm,
okay. But
mhm.
the motion sickness, never had it. Never, even on a ferry or anything, I've never had that. But a doctor once said that if you eat a green apple, that will help you with motion sickness. But I've never had to try it, so I have no idea.
That's interesting. I've never heard that one before, but I do have a friend that does get motion sickness at times, and I will have to let her know what she has to try that green apple trick.
Yeah,
Let her
try
know.
that out.
Mhm.
Definitely. And the entertainment, how was the entertainment on the cruises you went on?
It was good. It was good. We saw a couple of shows. We didn't do a ton of some of the entertainment. We kind of get tired. I mean, when we go on these cruises, if we're in port for let's say a good 8 hours, if we can get an 8 hour excursion, we're gonna do that. If we can't, we might do 2 4 hour excursions, and then
Oh,
you're going, going, going. But we really like to do that because we like to get out there and take videos, and we've done that. And we're starting to put
yes.
this is a new YouTube channel. We're starting to put more and more of our videos up from some of those excursions and trips that we've taken. So we would advise anybody and everybody to subscribe to Destination Discoveries Media Network. In fact, that's the QR code up in the top left for Destination Discoveries. because we're trying to grow. It's a new YouTube channel. We just decided, you know what? We need a different another YouTube channel. We didn't have enough with our old one, but we also decided, hey, we go on hello SH Jode.
Hi,
Uh,
Joe.
we go on cruises, we travel, and we're like, you know what? Let's do a travel channel because people are always interested in looking for different things about traveling, whether it be how you travel or what to avoid, what not to avoid. Speaking of which, Rob, which is your favorite cruise line since you've been on numerous?
I think celebrity first, and then Royal Caribbean. Yeah, I've been on a bunch of them, but celebrity, I love celebrity. Um, Everything was great about it. The ship was beautiful. The food was excellent. I don't think I had one bad meal on that ship for any meal. So I would say celebrity is my favorite, and Royal Caribbean, which owns Celebrity, by the way. So
Mm-hmm.
that's second, and then NCL and down the line. I tried MSC in November, and a lot of people didn't have, they didn't have good things to say about it. But I didn't have a problem with that ship. They said food wasn't the greatest with that cruise line, but I had pretty good food and meals, so it wasn't a bad experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm going on a cruise. I don't care where it
Mm-hmm.
is, uh, as long as it's a decent ship. I'm all in, Candy.
Well, Lonnie is watching. Lonnie is my brother-in-law. Thanks, Lonnie. Yep, I'm going on Celebrity. So yes, I get to go on what Rob went on. So that's what we booked. We booked another cruise for next year, and we're going on Celebrity. We're going to be doing a Scandinavian tour, so we're going to go tour like Denmark and Sweden and Finland and back to Norway because we loved it. So yes, so thank you, Lonnie. Thank you for watching. Uh,
That cruise sounds amazing, by the way.
yeah.
That Joe Dell, by the way, is my cousin, the guy who just
Ah,
said it. So he's
okay.
around
He's
there.
traveled to outer space here and there. Okay.
Yeah. But that sounds like a great cruise, and I definitely like to do a cruise like that someday. I've done mostly islands, so that would be a nice change. See, if I lived in Florida, forget about it. I'd be going on cruises all the time. Like for the weekend, what do you want to do this weekend? Let's just take a 3-night cruise and go. So
The only
maybe.
problem with that, Rob, is most of them you gotta get on by 4 o'clock on Friday, and if you're working Friday, 4 o'clock doesn't work,
Yeah,
and then
that's
you're
true.
getting it off the ship at what 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're like going straight to work just about.
Yeah, I guess that would be easier if you're like in your 20s.
I
You can
probably.
handle
Well, and the other thing is I kind of feel like I live in paradise. Like a
it.
beach is what 8 miles down the road from me, the ocean. So it's kind of like, and I get it. A cruise, like you get to relax, let somebody else wait on you. They can, they cook the food and all that. So I get it. I get it. Um,
Yeah, no, but I get what you're saying too. Yeah, you live in Florida. That's perfect. It's perfect. I got to deal with New York. I got to deal with winter. In fact, the cruise um, we went on in November, and we left from Brooklyn, MSC, and it was freezing. I mean, the first day, forget it. You couldn't go outside. You had to stay inside. So that's leaving from New York in November. That's not the best thing to do. Um, but still, it was an experience.
Yep, exactly. I would say the next cruise after this one, we'd be looking at something that goes to Venice and Italy. Like we haven't done that, so we want to do that. And at some point, I definitely want to do an Alaska cruise, like you have, like you want to. So you
Yeah,
never.
I can't wait for that. I mean, it's just I know a lot of people who've been on Alaskan cruises, and the wildlife alone that you get to see from the ship is just it's amazing. So that is on my bucket list also.
Rob, can you believe we've been talking already 30 minutes? Can you
Time
believe it?
flies. I know it just flies. That's
It
because it's been a lot of fun.
it does. Well, guys, I would love to tell you keep talking, but we got to leave something for next time. Although I will say we are going to take a week off in between here. We are actually traveling. Surprise, surprise. We're going to North Carolina. So we will be bringing you new videos on our way. But before we do that, I am going to do a quick station break. And I'm used to doing it on our other channel, but here I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to put up, so my husband wrote a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It's written by Scott Morganroth. Talks about his time in the media business. And then, of course, I will say that we do have 2 YouTube channels. One is the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. The QR code right now is South Florida Tribune, where we talk all things. We talk sports, we talk non-sports. That is our first YouTube channel. We're broadcasting this live to both. The second YouTube channel, which is what we just started, which is Destination Discoveries Media Network. That's the QR code for that YouTube channel. Like I said, we just started it. We went to Key West. We've put up Key West videos. We're putting up videos from our time when we went to Portugal, Spain, Paris, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Iceland, Norway. So watch out. Definitely hit that subscribe button and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Rob, how can people find you?
Oh, NYMLB Talk, we're all over the place. So that's it. Just type that in and everything will, it'll take you everywhere.
Sounds great. Well, guys, we appreciate you tuning in to our first inaugural episode. Stay tuned. Every week, Monday nights around 7:10, we'll be coming on and we're going to talk travel. You never know what we're going to have in store for you. So if you like to travel, you're going to want to tune in and watch us. Anything else you want to say, Rob?
No, thanks, Candy. It's been a lot of fun and the time did fly by.
I know, didn't it? It's like, wow, wait a minute. It went by already. Well, everybody, enjoy your travels. Check out our YouTube channel, and we'll catch you the next time. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody in the chat room, too.